Folks, welcome back to episode 2 of our Orioles challenge. You're going to hear some background noise during this video. It's very busy times here at the warehouse, so there's a lot going on here at the yard. Exciting times, so apologies in advance for that. So something happened out of the gates here. We were pretty good. We're 46-35 on July 1st, 2021. Of course, our goal in this series is to make the postseason by 2022, and we've got a shot at it this year. We're 5 back of the Rays. We are 6 up on the next wildcard team. The rest of the AL is looking pretty weak. Nobody above 500. And you figure somebody like Boston probably won't stay this bad. Houston, Toronto, Yankees. Some of these teams are going to come on at some point, one would think. Who knows what's going on with the Yankees here? I mean, what's their issue? It's 8th in runs scored, 10th in runs allowed. All right. So anyways, expanded standings-wise, we are plus 33 run differential, so we're 2 above our Pythagorean, but still like a solid team, surprisingly. So what happened once we came out of the gate strong in the early months, I went crazy with a bunch of trades. We'll get into them. But we totally remade the team to try to make the postseason this year rather than next year. So you can see we went 15-11 in April, 16-12 in May, 15-12 in June. And now we're July 1st, of course. Runs scored, we're tied for 6th in the AL. We're first in hits, first in batting average. We need a bopper in the middle of the lineup, it seems like. Starter or earned run average, we're 4th. Runs allowed, we're 4th. Defensive efficiency, 2nd. Zone rating, 4th. Let's go ahead to our transaction log here and just go back to April and just see. I don't think I made any trades until May, but you can see blah 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 blah. Yeah, nothing really in April. So then May, once things started picking up, then I was like, all right, let's do this thing. So May 1st, we made a major trade with the Mariners, who they had Kendall Graveman on the trade block, and so I decided I was going to bring in Kendall Graveman to pitch towards the back end of my bullpen. He's actually been in my rotation because welcome to the Orioles, where we don't have any pitching. And they also were kind of interested in trading Ty France, and I figured Ty France was like a cheaper version of Trey Mancini, who could play first base. Not exactly Mancini with his defensive, but a power hitter who's on a league minimum contract, and it would allow us to trade Mancini eventually for some value. So basically, because we were willing to take Graveman and France, who they wanted to get rid of, we were then able to get Marco Gonzalez in the trade, with them retaining 30%. Now, Gonzalez, is a guy who will pitch in the middle of our rotation. France is a guy who will bat towards the middle of our lineup. He hasn't been great for us. We'll get into how everybody's doing. And then Graveman's been in rotation. So what do we give up? They were very interested in Hunter Harvey, which I was fine with. This is a former first-round pick of the O's in 2013 he's still around, but just arm injuries galore. Oh, look, yeah, he already tore his elbow ligament for them. So, and then Terran Vavra, who, he's probably a major league player, probably an okay enough major league player. They were interested in, and then the rest were just throw-ins, I think. Yeah, that guy's a nobody. Brandon Hanafy, maybe they see him as a fringe major league player. I don't know. Greg Cullen, maybe they see him as a fringe major league pitcher. But Harvey and Vavra were the 2 main pieces, and then they also almost considered it positive value for them that I was going to take Graveman and France, and that's how we were able to get Marco Gonzalez. We then signed Graveman to an extension because he was only under contract through this year. We traded Claudio to make room for some of our new guys. We traded him for just a minor league pitcher who looked like maybe he could be okay if he gets his control issues under control. Then we made our control issues under control. The 26th, we made just a blockbuster day for the franchise. We acquired Frankie Montas, Lou Trevino, and Trevor Rosenthal from the A's. The deal in this was they wanted to be rid of Rosenthal's $11 million contract for some reason. Rosenthal has pitched to a 7.42 FIP for us so far, not very good. And basically our general assistant GM, Mike Elias, recommended against this trade because Rosenthal was involved, and he said he was an overpriced veteran. So I see Rosenthal as a positive for this team. He's making a lot of money, but I'm fine with that. Lou Trevino will pitch in our bullpen and be very good, and he's an arbitration guy. Frankie Montas, really good addition to our rotation. You put him with Marco Gonzalez, you can see the beginnings of an actual major league rotation. Now, what did we give up? Well, not a lot, because we were taking Rosenthal, and that's what they saw as the biggest piece of this. Zach Lothar is a decent pitching prospect for the O's in real life. He's in AAA, who is in AAA for us, pitching actually really well. But I don't see anything more than like maybe a number 5 starter out of him. So obviously willing to do that. Carter Ballmer is a younger pitcher, just 19 years old, who the O's picked in the 5th round of the 2020 draft in real life. You can see a player here who could develop since he's just 19, but so far away, we were obviously willing to deal him. Yorkis Landy Alvarez is not a guy who I see developing into a major league pitcher. Garrett Stallings is a 23-year-old minor league pitcher who I think is just minor league depth. And then we also traded them Matt Harvey. They were actually willing to do Harvey for Rosenthal and Trevino because they wanted to be rid of Rosenthal so badly. And Harvey's in their rotation apparently over there. So then we added all that other stuff in to get Frankie Montas. They were not willing to retain any salary, which for a guy that they just wanted to be rid of is saying something. So Frankie Montas, Lou Trevino, Trevor Rosenthal, great deal. So then we made our blockbuster deal. We traded Trey Mancini, number 15 prospect in baseball, Grayson Rodriguez, and a minor league pitcher named Dan Hammer, who's in rookie ball. And we got Dylan Cease, which was just a great deal for us, I thought. Between Cease and Montas and Gonzalez and Graveman, that's 4. I mean, Graveman I wouldn't put in that bunch, but top three of the rotation I think is solid now. Maybe no ace, but 3 solid pitchers. We also brought in Matt Foster to further bolster our bullpen, which I think is really good now. And I think that's the last trade that I've made so far. Let me just check. Yeah, no other trades made. We do have a couple big injuries, unfortunately. Austin Hayes, who was hitting well for us of the 113 WRC plus, he's out for another 8 to 9 weeks. He went out middle of June. That's a bummer. So he'll be back around September 1st, our starting left fielder. And then Miguel Rojas, our starting shortstop, has been out for about a week now. He was having a great season, a 135 WRC plus, was with 3.3 WAR in 71 games. He will be back like mid-July. So not a big deal there. Hopefully we can hold down the fort until he's back. Lineup-wise, Canelo is just a call-up, just a glove-first guy that we called up for to be our backup infielder with the injuries. Santander, Mountcastle, both been great. Severino's been sensational. I haven't even called up Adley yet. Yusniel Diaz, the crown jewel of the Manny Machado trade, was just called up with the injuries. Ruiz, third base is maybe a place where we can upgrade. I think what we need is a big bopper in the middle of this lineup. I think we need a home run threat. A power threat. Ty France has been league average. Mullins has been okay. Fletcher has been very good defensively, but not great offensively. Adam Engel has been a bummer, man. 66 WRC plus, negative 0.3 WAR, and he's actually been a negative zone rating guy. So go figure. Maybe we'll upgrade at center field. Maybe we won't. McKenna, Galvis hasn't done much. Wins is not going to be around long. I think pretty soon I'm going to call up Adley and send down Austin Wins. Pitching side of things, of course, a lot of these stats aren't with us. Let me go through these guys. Frankie Montas has made 6 starts with a 3.82 ERA, 3.04 FIP. Very good from Frankie so far. Marco Gonzalez, 2.90 ERA, a less sterling 4.47 FIP, but we'll take it. Dylan Cease has made 7 starts with a 3.19 ERA and a 4.10 FIP. Kendall Graveman, who I wish was in the rotation, or not in the rotation, but he's at a 5.85 ERA. We probably need another starter on this team if we're going to make a postseason run. And then we've got John Means, who has a 4.32 ERA, but a 5.80 FIP. And then the bullpen to me looked, Hewer was our closer when we brought him in, when we traded for him. We've got Rosenthal, Foster, Trevino, Hewer. All righties, but I think that's a really good back end of a bullpen. Paul Fry is capable. Cesar Valdez has had a very good season. Dean Kramer was in our rotation for a while and pitching really well. He actually won Rookie of the Month in April, but with all our additions, is now pitching out of the pen. I might overrule Hyde here. Maybe I should overrule him and put Kramer in and move Graveman out. I think I might do that because I just think that's better. Tanner Scott, also like to see him used in a different role than just this. So I'm probably going to tweak this some. I've been letting Hyde make the decisions, but I'm probably going to overrule him on some of these and put Kramer in the rotation for Graveman, put Scott maybe as a guy in the back end and move Fry to the specialist role, or just not have a specialist, a primarily specialist. So what are we going to do now? I think center field I'll sit tight for now with Engel. I think it would be really nice to bring in a power hitter, preferably at third base. I could do a first base DH type guy or even an outfielder type guy. But I think third base might make the most sense. And just to see what's on the trade block so far. So all batters, batting ratings. So Jose Abreu, obviously not a third baseman, but he's out there. And he's a big bopper to put in the middle of the lineup. Brandon Belt, another guy who can hit well, but not having a great year this year. CJ Crone is in Colorado performing miserably. But maybe we get him to Baltimore and things take off for him. But there's not really a lot out here in terms of third baseman. Let's just sort by third base. Or filter, I guess I should say. Donovan Solano. He seems okay. Todd Frazier is having an okay season basically as a pinch hitter. Jake Lamb is not having a good year. Starlin Castro is decent, but not really the type of player we're looking for. Let's look at free agents and upcoming free agents. Chris Bryant's out there. Certainly if the Cubs were willing to deal him, we'd be in on that in a heartbeat. I'd really like only to deal him if the Cubs are out of it. So they're 39 and 42. They're 4.5 out of the division, 5.5 out of the wild card. I don't think they're really in a spot where they'd be dealing him yet, but that's something to keep an eye on this month. Brad Miller's not all that interesting to me. Chris Taylor's a pretty versatile guy with a decent bat, but not a guy the Dodgers would be looking to trade in this scenario. So, yeah, I think it's kind of a wait and see thing here on the bats. I'm trying to see who the best upcoming free agents are. You've got Marcus Semien, who he could play third base. He doesn't have an experience there yet, but he could play there. Freeman obviously would be awesome to bring in, but I don't think the Braves are out of it, are they? I think they're in first. Oh, they're in second. Yeah, in the wild card hunt though. So, yeah, I think it's just kind of like a wait and see thing here for maybe what the Cubs do if we could bring in Chris Bryant. I think that would obviously be huge for us to be able to do that. Let's just see if they're even willing to deal him at this moment. I'm not going to trade them Marco Gonzalez, but I'd like to see if we can build a package around somebody else. It does look like I think we'd be able to find a package that worked here. I do. Just kind of messing around here. DL Hall I don't really want to deal, nor do I want to deal Gunnar Henderson. Bruce Zimmerman I'd be willing to deal. What else would they I feel like we need to throw probably another good player in here. Using El Diaz, I could see being attractive. They want a pretty significant piece as this last piece. He's a rental, guys. He's a rental. Man. Okay, let's just throw in this guy. I don't really want to trade him Gunnar Henderson. Yeah, we're gonna hold off on this. Maybe if we're coming up, Fry's a decent major league reliever. Zimmerman's not really a major league guy for us, but he is having a good season in AAA. I think this is a lot to pay for a rental, but he fills a need for us. So we're going to be willing to overpay if come late July we're still, we haven't faded, and we need a third baseman. We're going to be looking at that. But I think the trade block could change between now and then. So we'll take a look around. We'll see what's happening. I'm going to jump forward a little bit here to get us closer to the deadline. But and see if maybe that price comes down a little on Bryant if he gets added to the trade block. All right, so the Cubs fell out of contention, and they put Chris Bryant on the trading block, and as you can see here, we traded for Chris Bryant. Welcome to Baltimore, Mr. Chris Bryant. They retained 95% of his deal. I'll show you what we gave up and explain in a minute. So he's having a down year, just an 89 WRC plus. He's had 12 plate appearances for us and been bad, but not too concerned about that. Hopefully, getting traded into this pennant race with the 2021 Orioles will inject some life into Bryant, and he can inject some life into the middle of our order. So we also brought in Zach Davies. They retained 5%. The main reason why I included Davies is because they were adamant about getting Dean Kramer, who is my number 4 starter. And I decided I could replace him with Davies, who's a free agent after this year. It sucks to give up Kramer, a young guy who was pitching well. Like I said, he was Rookie of the Month in April. Davies was having a good season, though. 111 innings, 3.64 ERA, 3.81 FIP. Doesn't really strike anybody out. Hopefully in front of my good defense, I'll be okay. A little worried about the long ball with just a 50 movement, but I figured he could be at least as good as Kramer, or maybe not. He could be an adequate back into the bullpen arm, is what I figured. So what did I give up? Dean Kramer was the headliner. This was the guy they were primarily interested in. Dean Kramer was having a very nice season for me at the age of 25, kind of going back and forth between the back end of my rotation and middle relief. He put up a 3.10 ERA and a 4.12 FIP, both solidly above league average. On pace for 4.1 RWAR. So it's a good pitcher I gave up. Not a nobody, and he's only 25. He was the number 81 prospect in baseball. And then we also gave up Rylan Bannon, who is kind of like an adequate middle of the infield, second base, I guess I should say. He's more like second and third. He was hitting well in AAA for me. They still have him in rookie ball. I'm sure they'll bump him up soon, but he was hitting well in AAA. But I just didn't see him in the plans for this season. In my OSIM in Out of the Park 21, he became I think a regular in my lineup for a few years. Brett Cumberland was a minor league catcher for me who I didn't really see a lot of use for because of the 45 catcher ability. They have him up as their catcher, so congrats to them. They were also interested in Maverick Handley, who was a minor league catcher in A-ball for me at the age of 23. And T.T. Bowens, who was in high A for me and hitting really well with a 132 WRC plus at the age of 23. So, I think Kramer and Bannon are the headliners here. We get Bryant and Davies. And we also, you can see we called up Adley Rutschman. The time is here. He's here, guys. So really looking at this team now, I think the biggest weakness is in left field while Hayes is out. Mullins is in there against righties, McKenna against lefties. Mullins has a 104 WRC plus, which is fine, and McKenna has a 49. I'd like to bring in another bat here, specifically a lefty. Mullins is one of the only lefties in the lineup. I'd like to bring in lefty at another position, but I just don't see that happening right now. Just don't see where that's going to be a fit. But let me go ahead and show you what I cooked up here. So the Astros are out of it, and they want to give up Michael Brantley and retain all of his money for this year and next year. The main guy they're interested in is Ignacio Feliz, who is pitching well with a 2.65 ERA, is 21 at the high A. He's got 3 above average pitches. Curveball could be great. I don't have any problem giving him up. Lyons Bieto, who is a minor league catcher who is doing fine in A-ball, but I don't really see a future as a major leaguer. And then Leonardo Rodriguez, same thing. He's pitching well in Double-A. He's got a 1.81 ERA, 2.77 FIP, but I don't think he's like a real valuable major leaguer moving forward. One thing I didn't check, can I get them to throw in Ryan Presley? Nah. My bullpen's actually kind of overcrowded at this point. I could always send down any one of these guys, Fry or Valdez. Graveman actually hasn't been very good. So we bring in Brantley and send McKenna down, and then who knows what it'll look like once Hayes is back out there. But I think Brantley gives us a really good lefty bat, and the fans are happy. Fans are very happy about that. Happy to help, guys. So we're going to send down McKenna, who's really struggled, and then we're going to call up or add Brantley to the active roster. Let's see what Hyde thinks about this. Let's ask him to do this, see if he'll be responsible. Okay, that's reasonable. And I've got a couple switch hitters here too, so it's not like I'm all righty. Oops, wrong one. And then here he's got Brantley all the way down 6th against lefties. Okay. So I don't know what Hyde's approach will be once Hayes returns in like 5 weeks, but I feel like we needed to do that. So, your 2020 Orioles with David Fletcher, Chris Bryant, Michael Brantley, Ty France, a rotation of Montes, Gonzalez, Cease, Davies, and Means. And then, of course, the back end of the bullpen of Rosenthal, Foster, Trevino, Hewer. So what? 4 of these pitchers were on my team to start. And how many of my starting hitters were? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a few backups too. Mullins, Diaz, Ruiz, Rutschman's kind of like a starter. He's going to play every other day now, according to Hyde. So, I don't know. I think that might be it, honestly. I wouldn't mind bringing in another starter and maybe bumping Means to the bullpen and maybe sending down Valdez, even though he's been really good. Just because if somebody gets hurt, I guess Graveman would come into the rotation. And after that, I don't really have anything. So I guess I could always look to make a deal for a starter. I guess that would be the one thing that would make sense as like added depth. I think my bullpen is fine. I'm comfortable with my bullpen. Is this a Max Scherzer on the trade block? He's going to block every trade though, right? He normally does. So pitching ratings. Imagine when we brought in Max Scherzer. I've done this before, and he normally like uses his 10-5 and refuses to be traded. Let's see if he does it here. Yeah, 10-5. So Scherzer's not going to be dealt. Verlander's hurt for how long? Oh, he's out for 6 months. Kluber's out for the year as well. Lance Lynn is here in the house. Chris Bassett. Robbie Ray. Now, this is not the Robbie Ray we quite know of this year. I feel like the long ball with his 45 movement might be an issue. Hasn't really bit him yet this year, but it has in real life in previous years. Let's see. Anybody with really good movement out there? Chatwood, Chris Bassett is somewhat tempting. Yeah. I don't know. Would I rather go with like Bassett or Lynn? I think probably Bassett. So they're similar, but Bassett has better movement. Hopefully home runs wouldn't become too much of a problem for him. Let's see, they're like willing to like really give him up, or do they want like a real package? His arbitration estimate for next year is 8.5. Let's just see. What do they want? Okay, I can find something here that works. Let's start with this catcher. I don't know who this guy is. Anutis Mordan. It was an international free agent signing for the O's in 2021 in real life. But he's not good enough to be a catcher. So he's basically a DH. And he's got a good bat for a catcher, but he's not good enough to be a catcher. So I'd gladly make this trade. I don't think there's anything else we really need them to throw in. Like, I think we're set everywhere else. And retained salary won't work because they won't retain the arbitration for next year. So there's no point in doing that. So yeah, I think I'll do this so that way all 5 guys in our rotation will be guys I've traded for. All right, so let's bring in Chris Bassett. This is just a pitching depth thing. I'm going to start by seeing... well, wait, I need to send down Cesar Valdez, who's actually pitched really well. I don't even know if he has options, does he? No, he doesn't. Darn. He's pitched pretty well, but yeah, we're gonna waive and DFA him, and then we're gonna call up Bassett, and then let's see what Hyde thinks our staff should be. Wait, he has Bassett as our #1 starter over all those guys? Okay. And he did move Means to the bullpen. That's what I wanted. That's really surprising. I did not think that Bassett would place that high. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm actually going to rearrange this. Do that. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I think that's our team. Our rotation of Cease, Montes, Bassett, Gonzalez, Davies. Bullpen, we talked about. Means goes to the bullpen. Gives us another lefty out there. I don't really want Tanner Scott as his main thing as being a... There we go. So we got Scott, Fry. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that bullpen. And now there's our lineup. And we'll get Rojas back. We'll get Austin Hayes back. We'll see how that shakes out. You know, I could always put Hayes in center once he's back. He's not a great center fielder, but he might be more of a net positive for the entire team than Engel, who's just been miserable this year. So I'll go ahead and jump ahead here to August 1st. I don't think I'm going to make any more trades, maybe if I have a major injury, and then we'll wrap up this episode just looking at the team August 1st, see where we're going, and then hopefully get into the playoffs here a year earlier than anticipated. All right, so it's now August 1st. We did have one unfortunate injury. It should be a short-term thing. Chris Bryant went out with concussion on the 23rd. He's due back in 1 to 2 weeks, so he's going to end up missing 2 to 3 weeks time. Just 4 games into his O's career dealing with the concussion. That's not fun. Rojas is a week away. Hayes is a month away. And that's pretty much it. I didn't make any other trades. So standings-wise, we're 58 and 46. We are 5.5 back of the Rays. We're 4 up on the White Sox, 5 up on the Red Sox for the second wild card. We're a game and a half back at Cleveland. You know, this is going to be tight, but I feel like we went out and we bolstered our team. We've got Rojas coming back soon. Bryant will be healthy. Yeah, I think we're set to go here. Adley's had 24 plate appearances. Hasn't quite made the thing happen yet. Hasn't quite done it yet, but patience. Michael Brantley's been very solid for us with a 116 WRC plus across 40 plate appearances. And pitching side of things, Chris Bassett has made a start yet. I think he probably has. Yeah, he's made 2 starts with a 4 ERA. Dylan Cease has pitched well across 11 starts for us. Zach Davies has made 2 starts, and his ERA is 11.05, a FIP of 5.73. So maybe some very bad luck there, but hopefully he can get it together, else he's going to the pen, and John Means is coming in. So, we have a very tired bullpen. Do we have a day off coming up? No, probably need to do something about this. So that's where the team's at, and I didn't expect to be in contention this season, but I think we can make a run out of here. Hopefully it doesn't all come crumbling down. But if so, there's always 2022. But unless something really strange or miraculous happens before the end of the season, next episode will be an update at the end of the season, hopefully with a happy ending with the Orioles postseason bound.